What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bartlett Arborist Supply. In today's video, we are going to be talking about all things snaketail. Okay, so the snaketail is one of my favorite tools to have on my harness. It pretty much just lives on my harness. I really don't take it off, and I usually get a lot of crap for it, like, why do you leave it on there, yada, yada, yada. I use it a lot, and pretty much on every climb, I'll use it as either a friction saver, to create a friction saver, or I'll use it to create a redirect, more or less. Likely I'm always using it to create some kind of redirect, especially on moving rope. And you can also use it in, I feel like it's a rare application when people use it this way, but it can be used in foot locking applications. So that's the first thing we're going to show today. We're going to show those three different things: foot lock, friction saver, and as a redirect. Now, what I've done here is I've installed this rope. This is going to be my foot locking access, and I'll leave it in as a access line, and it'll stay in the tree, right? I always have a separate system with me, but here's what you'll need: snaketail, foot lock cordage here. You'll also need what I usually keep these on there as well. Well, if I can get it out there, which is Pinto rig, DMM Ultra O, and then my second carabiner. This is just a DMM. I believe this is a Shadow, I think, maybe. But either way, whoops. These are the things you'll need. Additionally, you'll need your actual climbing system. Here I'll just have a moving rope system. Now, to configure this, you will need to attach this to this, okay? So this lock, or this foot locking cord, will attach via a girth hitch. So we're going to pass it through this thimble, this ring, goes through, and then I'm going to engulf the entire snaketail, and we're going to girth hitch it right to the top. So it should look just like that. Girth hitched onto the ring. Next thing we do, we grab both these legs of rope, even them out, and what I'm going to do here is I'm actually just going to tie a clem heist. So I'll go, there's 3 or 2, and then here's 3. There we go. This will pass through the bottom. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll probably have to, we'll work that in as a slow-mo, but that's it right there. That's your clem heist. Make sure this is set properly. But that's the beginning stages of this. Clem heist, snaketail is your tether where you're going to clip on to. So next thing, that's right, we're going to use Pinto rig. Now I could potentially run my system through it, but I like running my Pinto rig there. Now this technique or this application has been around for quite a bit. But yeah, we're just gonna refresh on it. Clip that in there, and then the second carabiner will actually just live right there for now. Okay, you'll see the purpose for this carabiner here, or you can even take this, take that here, and then that way you can store, so you can see, but store it so that it's out of the way of your locks. Okay, but this I'll clip back to over here, that way it's out of the way. But your climbing system, prior to ascending up, you want to make sure you load everything and adjust your length. So here I'm sitting down, my hitch is holding. I believe that'll be good. And then that clem heist is going to hold me in place. I'm actually not going to use this here. Just going to leave it up top. And then I'll just pass the snaketail through with my lanyard. The tail of this rope I just clip off to the side. But this is the first set, or the first way that we're going to demonstrate the use of it. Make sure this is going to be easy to move up. Might want a little more. That'll work. Okay, first thing, to catch your locks. I always start off with my right foot here, and I'm going to go up. So 1, 2, and I'm not the greatest at foot locking. I do still practice this quite often. I just like using my ascenders more, but I like to practice this so it stays fresh in my head. I know what I'm doing here, and just practicing and keeping the foot locking alive. Yeah, but let's do it. up, up, up. And once I get to a level where I can stand up, I'll do just that, stand on the limb, and I can show you if I needed to run out here and work. So now I can stand, load into my system for now, and I'm going to stand up. Now, the main reason why that carabiner's here is so that I can spike underneath the foot locking for a sec. So I can advance that a little bit. Okay. All right, so from a different view, a little bit higher vantage point for the camera there. I've made my way up, I'm on my limb, and I actually just advanced this climb heist slightly up a little bit higher. And what I was talking about, why this carabiner stays here, is to create an easy spike so that the system doesn't, or the spike acts as a stopper knot, so that in the event that this hitch up top, the climb heist, begins to slide, it stops on that spike. Now, staying here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tie a slip knot very close to, I like to do it as close as I can at the bottom underside of it, just like that. And then what I'll do, all right, so you can see, carabiner now opens up and it's going to attach to the spike there, okay? I still kind of rotate it. I'm a little weird like that, rotate and catch. There's a lot going on in there, but peace of mind. But now I'm free to load, and if I needed to go out that way, let me take this blue 32 out of the carrier tool. All right, but now if I needed to roll out that way, I still have the angle of the foot lock or the access rope where I'm able to come out, do my thing. I'm gonna give the back to you for a little bit. And I'm able to come out, make sure you don't exceed your angle. You can come out and do your work. But now you have moving rope off of your foot lock, so you can actually work on your way up. And then you get that beautiful MA walking back in. You do have to be mindful of where you set your climb heist, because you don't want, or you want to make sure that it's not going to interfere with other systems or other limbs above. But yeah, so this is the foot locking portion. Step 2, we're going to go up and create a friction saver. See you up there. All right, so we've showed and demonstrated the foot locking aspect of it. But now let's say you didn't foot lock, but you have a snaketail and you wanted to use it in a friction saver standpoint. So what we're going to do is I have my snaketail, and for friction saver use, I actually switch over to a DMM Duralock or a quad lock, however you want to call it, just because it has that extra action. If it happened to rub on something and it release, the whole gate just closes back on its own. But I'm always mindful of where I'm placing my system. If I know my friction saver is going to make contact with the tree, I won't opt for something like this. I'll just single rope it or use a different friction saver. But just demonstrating that it can be used. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave that off for now. So snaketail, and what I've done here is I've taken a mini accessory because I use the pinto rig, and that being wide in between the between the pulley and the carabiner can be fixed if you use a spacer, but I'm not using a spacer. Ring I'll toss up and through, and the accessory carabiner, if you have the lock bar, reinsert the lock bar so that this does not rotate around the system if you want to keep everything clean. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw down the accessory. I'm going to gauge how much of this I want to be adjusted. So let's say maybe I want only up to here, okay? Adjustable, I can choose my own pocket of where to attach. Now there's something you must know not to do, okay? So these snaketails and snake anchors, they have segmented pockets, so they're stitched in, and you're only supposed to catch the actual rope itself, the cordage, not the stitching. So this right here is okay, but if you were to catch the stitching like that, that is a big no-no. That can lead to something catastrophic. So correct usage is vital here. So make sure that you only catch the rope itself. Okay, so now if this was to break down, the reason for the segmented pockets or the stitching is once it reaches or it sees a 5 kN shock load or drop, it'll break and it'll go down to the next one. And it'll go down to the next one if it's a significant shock. It'll keep going down because it's going to act as a shock absorbing assistant. Okay, so now I've got that set up. Now time to place the rope, and my rope is first going to go through the accessory carabiner, then through my rig here, and then through the thimble itself. So now I have a moving rope friction saver. And to retrieve it, it's simple. Once I hit the ground, I'm actually going to use the large DMM red cone for this application, for this retrieval. But now all I have to do is stick that in there, red cone through the eye, girth onto the eye, and it's going to pass through. Passes through the large, catches on the gate of the accessory carabiner, so just like that. And once you're down low, it pulls everything out. Okay, so that's how this is utilized. But yeah, it's like I said, it's a very multi-purpose tool that works in not only one but multiple setups. So now, if I wanted to, I'm gonna go out and climb and do my thing, you know, just have some fun. And yeah, I'm a big fan of the quad locks. I know people dislike it, but it's just something that I do. I like it. And I do have a munter cinch on the tree just to hold me in the cinch position that I was. Load test my system, pull that out. And yeah, I mean, as you can see, it's holding, it's doing its thing. I can come down, I can go to work, I can drop down a little more. And it's just rolling, it's doing its thing, it's beautiful. I have a friction saver. Its only purpose is not just a foot lock, it can be used as a friction saver. And the next thing we're gonna do is show you how to redirect with it. So yeah, here we go. Third way we're gonna show how to use this SnakeTail, this glorious tool. Moving rope redirect, okay? Now I know we've got a full video on it if you wanna check that out rather than finish watching this, up to you, but stay tuned because we are gonna do a little bit more. Here we go. So I have carabiner at the very end of the SnakeTail, not where the thimble is here. We want to make sure that the least amount of hardware flows through the branch union when we go to retrieve it, okay? I like to choose my branch unions that they're somewhat wide. So this part goes right, hold on, take two, take three, oh my God, just reach. But anyway, that's it right there, okay? So that's the first part, here's the second part. I'm still gonna use this guy right here. And it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but what I'm going to do is staying clear for loose gear. Okay. And I'm actually going to roll all the way around. Let me know if you can't see it. But what's going to happen is the Pinto rig goes on the bottom side. I'm trying to do my best here. Hold on, hold on. But it goes on the bottom side of the hitch, or where the hitch is, the running leg where the hitch is at. And we're going to catch just like that, okay? So hitch, pulley. Next step is I'm actually gonna catch the spliced eye above. Okay, so if you want to zoom in on that right there, or trying to catch that. Can you see it? Yeah. Okay, so, and the reason I do it this way is if I don't catch the spliced eye, it'll actually shift the snake anchor over and it'll pivot and it'll awkwardly load it. So by doing this, I will now, come on over here. Come on, give me some extra. Extra over here. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to block the camera. But now this has my adjustable side, so I can go up, clip there, and then we're gonna take this guy, make sure that it's not facing the tree, just in the event. So I'm gonna face the gate towards the tree, so that when I rotate, the gate is facing away. And this is going to catch the splice side once more time. And I'm gonna make sure it looks pretty, make sure it's all good to go. And before you load into, or just disconnect your lanyard, make sure that everything's loaded. So now, That's gonna maintain a little bit, or it's actually gonna contact a little bit, but my gates are facing away where I'm comfortable. And now I'm actually free to walk out on this little guy. I can actually drop down, and if I begin to work away, which I will be in this tree, the plan here was to go out and away towards the tips that way, but to maintain a better angle and not get pulled back into the main tie. So the further I go out, the further it's going to pull my hardware out. If I start flowing to the tree back that way, then the hardware will contact the tree itself, and then that's where we're going to have issues. So be aware of what way you're going to work the tree. If you have something where it's dangling right above, then you're able to flow both ways. But in something like this, if we're going to flow out, it's going to minimize that contact, and or if any there, right, or completely removes it from the situation. But now, like I said, this is also retrievable from the ground with the main tie-in point, which we will show when we come down. I actually show the process of how to before. So in something like this, you need to bring up the tail end of your rope and just find a different branch union or somewhere to throw it over. You know what I'm saying? And you want to make sure that you have enough rope to hit the ground, because you're making a pretty big continuous loop. So here I check. Remember, you check if you have enough by dropping that biter rope down. And here, what I do, I'm just going to tie a double fisherman, or a fisherman knot here, onto this perfecto. Right, 1, 2, and maybe not enough there. And if I can't reach, I'll simply just go back down in. And switch this over this way. And then to set up for a controlled retrieval, like I said, just find a branch union, take this guy here and clip it onto the hitch side, and then I'm able to just drop down, finish doing the work, and you'll catch everything as it comes down. Okay, so yeah, you're getting there. Okay, all right, so now we're gonna retrieve the whole system in a moving rope configuration. As you can see, there's a little bit of rope going up in there, but now I've hit the ground, and what I'm gonna actually do is disconnect my whole primary system, untie, so that I've basically made a continuous loop with the system. And you do need to have enough rope. I do have to mention that. So this may not be in every tree type of thing, but once the system's off, we start pulling and we go to retrieve. So if you were to follow, right now, the splice die is coming up. It's gonna come up through the snake tail, and the snake tail drops. Our nausea pulls out, and now everything is coming down. So now in this scenario, I'm pretty much rigging out my snake tail and friction and nausea, and it's all coming down to the ground in a controlled manner, big continuous loop. And now we have taken care of all of our equipment. So yeah, I pretty much like doing this all the time when I climb moving rope. I like retrieving the system pretty much every time. But yeah, cool. Now the final way of using it that we're going to demonstrate today is a straight choke off, non-retrievable. Thimble goes up and through, tail goes through and cinch that bad boy up. Now it's girth hitch, it's cinched the tree. And I did switch over to a stationary rope system. And what I'm gonna do, slack out, okay, carabiner, I'm gonna make sure that gate goes towards the tree first, so that when I rotate, the spine is what's towards the tree. But, so I can obviously choose to go through any of these pockets. I wanna keep myself high for now. So I'll go through there, drop the tail through, or the rope through it, slack out my lanyard, and now I'm completely loaded into the stationary rope system. I can take this off, and just like that, I'm ready to work. So that's your simple, basic choke off redirect. But as I mentioned, non-retrievable. But that's the ART in the crown. Thanks for checking it out. Make sure to visit us at bartlettman.com. Don't forget to hit that like, the subscribe, check out the rest of the content. Oh, and don't forget, the Bartlett Arborist Supply app is live on the App Store, Google Play, whatever you choose to download it through. Thanks for checking it out.